Socket!
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
It's Coffee In here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning, September the 11th. My name's Joe Callahan. Let's go around the Coffee In table. We'll say good morning to Attorney Bob Lauder. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
And Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates has joined us at the Coffee In table. Good morning, Chief.
Joe.
Nice, good. Nice to have you here with us. Sue Tessier McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-In-Times cannot be with us this morning, which is too bad. It's got nothing. Chief's getting a little bit of a complex every time he's here. She's not here. It's got nothing to do with that, Chief. So we're all set there. So
Nice lady.
You're right. You're right. Okay, to start things off, let's see. All right. Let's see. Well, let's begin by talking about what everybody's talking about around the country, and it's the assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday at the Utah Valley State University, whatever. Anyway, it's a college in Utah. And Bob, did you see the video?
Yes, I did.
The actual video.
Yes.
Chief, did you see it?
I saw I didn't see the actual shot that took him down, but I did see the, I did see the stands where he was set up and so forth and so on. The networks that I watched didn't actually show the
networks won't show you this because it's way too graphic.
Yeah.
I was able to catch it online, and it's horrifying because it really looks like something out of a movie where he gets hit in the neck and right at the artery, and the blood just rushes out. It almost looks fake. Like a movie, but it's unfortunately it is so real. From what I've seen, and I don't know if you've seen this, Chief, it looks so, I don't know if organized is the right word, but a clip I saw from someone's cell phone, I don't know if it's correct or not, another thing you see online, but it looks like someone was actually lying down on the building about 100 yards away with a rifle. This looks like it looks like a professional hit. I don't know if you have any comment about that. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I saw that one clip. I mean,
okay.
Hindsight's 2020. I mean, this is an event at a college. He is a celebrity. He does have his own security detail. So I think at that point, in most of those venues, they're more focused with someone in the crowd, some type of interaction directly and indirectly.
Yeah, the thousands of kids that are in front of them.
Indirectly in front of them. You look, and unfortunately, even with the presidential detail, as much as the detail he had with Secret Service protection, there still was an incident that happened. So, unfortunately, if someone's determined to do something as horrific as that, there's a good possibility they're going to be able to do it. They're going to be able to do it. I'm sure that'll be examined. I saw the press conference, and the chief is right. It's the chief's worst nightmare because ultimately he's responsible for it. He's going to have to answer for it.
I mean, the FBI said, "Well, we'll be there to help,"
right.
But it's really up to the chief.
Now it's a matter of trying to apprehend the individual and hold him accountable for what he's done.
The school was closed down. They closed down immediately yesterday, but they're staying closed through the 14th. That's what I heard. So the rest of the week, basically.
That's a horrific event to watch on TV. Never mind to be a young kid in a crowd within feet away from that.
Any thoughts, Bob, on what took place yesterday in Utah?
Not beyond what the chief has said.
Okay.
No.
Do you even know who Charlie Kirk was?
Not until this event occurred.
Really? Okay.
Really. I'm living in the 19th century at the best, but no, I wasn't aware of who he was. No.
Okay. This is what he did. He would go around to college campuses to have discussions. Now, of course, he's a big Trump supporter, and he's got all his facts backed up. So he would debate mostly liberals who were trying to shoot him down, and so he was big on abortion is wrong. Trump is right on basically everything, kind of thing. But he wouldn't be engaging to the point where he was yelling at people or calling them names or something like that. He would want to have a discussion about it. But what from the clips I've seen, which is probably from his company, so it's skewed towards him, I would say. But people that would, when they got to the point where they couldn't argue with him anymore because they were out of ideas or facts, they would swear at him and leave, and they would just get so frustrated and just start swearing at him. That's what I've seen.
No, he's a Christian conservative. He was a
Yes, he is.
Christian conservative, and obviously on the conservative side. And his motto was "Prove me wrong."
Or try to. Yeah.
Right. Try to prove me wrong is what it was. And he was just known from my understanding of it. He would debate anybody, but it was not adversarial. Yeah, it was adversarial in just the fact that it was a difference of opinion and debate.
Mm-hmm.
It was not personal. It was not any type of a personality attack or whatever. It was more.
Now they
practice.
yesterday at the college, I think they had a petition. Petitions do nothing, by the way. That's my opinion. But there was a petition with 1,000 signatures on it that said they didn't want him there. And the school, I guess to their credit, said, "Hey, free speech is free speech, and everybody gets it, whether you like it or not." So, but they were chanting before he got shot. Some people were chanting, "Kill Charlie, kill," or "Kill Charlie Kirk." I'm like, wow.
Well, that's unfortunately
It
that's
is.
the society that we've come to, and unfortunately, some of the political leaders and some of the other leaders in this country say things that I really think are inappropriate. That really set off. We have in this country, in every city and town, there's unfortunately people dealing with mental illness and other avenues, and some of the statements that these people do, I really believe are a trigger for them or a justification for them for their behavior. So I think everybody should just tone it down a little bit.
Well, you would hope so. They arrested 2 people yesterday. They just said, well, I don't know if they arrested them. Maybe they just detained them, people of interest, but they let them both go. Yeah. Okay, after investigating and asking questions, okay, you're not the person we're looking for. So they actually haven't found the person that did the shooting just yet.
Not yet, no.
So they're still...
And this is overclouding the other incident of violence where the school in Colorado had a student...
there was a shooting yesterday,
yes,
right? Yeah.
3 people were... I think 3 people were killed.
I know at least 1 were killed.
One?
Yeah.
Okay,
There
injured.
were, I think it was 3 were shot and 1 were killed, unless
Okay.
they unfortunately updated that, Bob.
Wow. Who did the shooting? Was it a student or
Student.
just at the school?
Yes, who apparently allegedly brought a handgun into the school.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing that we've got to that point in the country where there's a school shooting where someone's killed and it doesn't really hit anybody's radar?
Yes.
I mean,
It is. That's sad that it's like that. So I remember seeing maybe watching some of the news yesterday. I think I saw a crawl across the bottom that was happening, but everyone was focused on the thing that happened with Charlie Kirk in Utah. So wow. So okay, they'll be looking for the shooter still today in Utah. Another thing you must be you're gonna be glad, Chief, you're not the chief down in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
With the killing on the train.
Yeah.
Did you see this, Bob?
No. Okay.
There was a man who stabbed the Ukrainian refugee woman in the neck for no reason. She came here to get away from the war, to get away from violence. She gets killed on the train. He stabbed her right in the neck.
Did they explain the reason why this person acted that way?
He's got a long rap sheet, right?
Right.
And mental health.
That's the thing that
issues.
drives law enforcement crazy. This person's been arrested, from what I understand, over 14 or 15 times for serious offenses. He's got mental health issues. Well, why is he even out on the street? He just had a recent crime, I believe, some type of felony assault. This poor young girl is sitting on her
She's on her way home.
looking on her phone, coming home from work, a pizza place, and he's seated behind her. He gets up and, without provocation, just walks over and stabs her in the side of the neck, and then
All caught on camera.
and potentially makes some racial comment that
I killed the white woman.
right. So it's just it's another unfortunate, unbelievable situation.
But it happened, 3 weeks ago, and we're just starting to hear about it within the past week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's amazing how what the national media considers what's important. And
what's news and what isn't news.
Yeah.
Okay. Back here in Rhode Island, back here in Woonsocket, we had the story yesterday, Chief, that the fire on Park Ave was deemed accidental.
Yes.
Just
that's right.
now, when they say it's discarded smoking material, do we just assume cigarettes, or should that be expanded?
Well, they know it was somebody smoking. It could have been any type of substance that they were smoking. If he's smoking a cigar, smoking a cigarette, but
Could it be? What if it was marijuana?
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be, but they usually with that, I would think that they know, but they probably exactly know. I'm not down into that nitty gritty into what they actually fire actually recovered to determine that. I mean, a lot of times if it's a cigarette, it'll burn down to the point except the filter's still in existence, and if it's in that area where the fire is, that's what their basis of determining what the fire is. So in this particular case, I don't know, but if they've ruled it smoking materials and that's what it is, it's kind of irrelevant, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
If it's whether a cigar or the result is still the same. And it happens a lot. People don't realize it, that especially in the summer with mulch beds and that, discarding a simple cigarette before you walk into a house, even if it's not your house or leaving somebody's house or whatever it is, and if it's close to the house, before you know it, you've got a bad situation.
I never thought of mulch beds being a
it festers for a while.
Wow. Yeah. It makes sense. It's just I never considered that.
Yeah.
My dad, who smoked for a number of years, he always congratulated the United States Army for hooking him on cigarettes because they were given to him for free. They were free.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
He was in Korea and said, "Here you go, guys." Oh, well, all right.
They used to come in your K rations.
Did it?
Yes.
Well, okay. But anyway, he was always good. He would flick the cigarette out the window of the car, but his feeling was, well, it's on the road and it's going to land on the cement and he'll be safe. Turned out to be true. So, but
Good.
I don't think he ever started a fire. But if he was
That
outside,
you're aware of.
that I'm aware of. That's right. But if he was outside, just standing, and he threw a cigarette down, he would always step on it, to make sure it was completely out. So he did take some safety into it. And you talk about it burns down to the filter, unless you're like a real man like my uncle, who smoked Camels with the Camel cigarettes without the filter. He was tough. He was the guy back in the 50s standing on the street corners in Providence with the white T-shirt with the cigarette rolled up in the sleeve. He was that guy.
That was cool back then.
It was cool back then. He was cool.
Fashion statement.
He thought he was the bee's knees back then. So that's how that worked. All right, we're gonna take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more coming your way. Comments and questions, especially for Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates. Give us a call 766-1240.
OM 1240.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
On ON Radio.
It is Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates. This segment of Coffee and sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Call and Times. I do want to get to this because the Chief can't be here for the entire hour, but it is the anniversary of September 11th. So I want to check in on what the Chief remembers because, you were working in Providence, right?
Yeah, but I was actually off that day.
Oh, that was my...
No, I was actually off
Were you
that
off
day,
that
but
day?
I was actually at a golf tournament at Foster Country Club, but it was a law enforcement tournament.
Okay.
There were, Colonel Culhane was there from the Rhode Island State Police, as well as quite a few Rhode Island troopers and Connecticut troopers, And I can remember before we were teeing off, we were in the clubhouse and watched.
You saw it?
And then in the second plane, everybody basically, I mean, I ended up staying, but all the Rhode Island troopers and the Connecticut troopers especially
Went back?
All went back because they were headed to New York. They were headed to New York.
Connecticut troopers were?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's a day that you'll just remember wherever it was, wherever you were. In fact, we made the decision. The person that was running the tournament said, "Hey, we're either going to do this or we're not going to do this." And it was determined there was, still people that were there that they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything.
So let's play.
We didn't do anything. So
okay,
we'll play golf.
But so the days following, when you went back,
Oh, yeah.
what changed at the police station?
Oh, everything, suspicious packages. I mean, I'd been in contact with people at work that day. One of the things that had happened, there was actually a bus that had pulled into front of Rhode Island Hospital, and it had a backpack on it. They ended up having to close that whole front of the hospital area down.
Wow.
The bomb squad, and they didn't take any chances. But everybody was on heightened alert because no one knew.
What was
that
next?
was still unveiling. At that point in the morning with Pennsylvania, and then later down at the Pentagon. So no one knew where the next thing was going to drop, or if something was going to drop, or if it was going to be some type of a car. Because in the initial attacks on the World Trade Center, they used vans with
That's right.
explosives. They used vans with explosives. So yeah, no, it was crazy. It was a crazy few days after that. It certainly changed the way we all travel now.
Oh, I know.
But prior to that, you could run up to an airport and run in 15 minutes before and buy a ticket and jump on a plane.
If you brought someone to the airport, you could walk to the gate with them.
Right, exactly.
And say goodbye, and they get on the plane. You left.
It certainly changed the way that the way the world that we live in. In fact, I'm watching on Netflix. There's a documentary series about them hunting Bin Laden, and it goes over all these series of events that Al Qaeda did leading up to and after. Around the world after they were planning then a second. They wanted something bigger and better than 9/11, and this is quite an interesting documentary if you get a chance to look at it.
Well, I do remember on the day, after the attacks, of course the FAA told all planes down, just land wherever you can as soon as possible, and then they searched other airplanes and they found more box cutters on other planes. Other attacks were going to take place that the FAA basically thwarted on that day. So there was more. There was supposed to be more than just the 4 that took place. So, and I heard later on, the Golden Gate Bridge and things like that were going to be attacked. So they all stopped that. I actually had the person that my barber that cut my hair told me the story. He flew out of Providence on 9/11. He was going on a cruise in Alaska and made it all the way to Minnesota and down, and that was it. He never made it to Alaska. He had to hang out in Minneapolis for a little while because I said, "How'd you get back?" Well, he couldn't fly, right? And two people went to trains, and they were all sold out. He eventually and it took a while, took a couple of days for him to rent a car, and he just drove back. Because that's just and they didn't tell him why we're landing in Minnesota.
Yeah, no.
You had to wait out and then go look at the TVs.
You wouldn't have known at that point.
No. So where were you, Bob?
I was down in the clerk's office in the town of Cumberland. We were recording some documents, and I remember the clerk coming out of her office and saying that a plane had hit the trade towers. And I was thinking it must be some like Piper Cub or something like that.
Oh yeah, a small thing. It is.
Right.
It's clipped it. Yeah.
And then coming back from to the office, listening to it on the radio, finding out the extent of this disaster. Yeah. But no, you're right. It's like your parents probably remember what happened on Pearl Harbor Day.
Sure.
I remember. We all remember this. Yeah.
All right. So there'll be other remembrances around the state today as well. So we always like to say that we're so glad we're at the age we're at because when we were younger and did stupid things, nobody filmed it and put it on social media for all of us to see. And we've all done stupid things. And
okay.
Well, now we have.
Are you going to go into some of a recollection of some of your stupid things, or the Chief's here? You can't do that.
No,
I'm sorry. You don't want to confess.
Most of the stupid things I did involved a bicycle, and falling off the bicycle,
okay,
or jumping the bicycle.
Okay.
only got hurt a couple of times. But anyway, it's these teenagers now in North Smithfield. Did you hear about this? That decided
what
they love to do. I don't know how they arrive, but they do these TikTok challenges. TikTok is a social media thing.
Yep.
Someone says, "Oh, do this, whatever the stunt is. Film yourself doing it, and then upload it to TikTok to watch, so other people can watch you doing it." And so this 18-year-old and a 16-year-old are over at the North Smithfield Reservoir. The challenge is to light yourself on fire.
What?
And then jump in the reservoir to put the fire out. Now, you don't actually light yourself on, well, you do, but you douse yourself with gasoline first, thinking that there'll be enough time for you to jump and get in the water before all the gasoline burns off. Wrong. The 18-year-old has got second and third degree burns on his back. That's permanent.
Yeah.
You don't get rid of that at all. The 16-year-old is basically okay. Maybe they didn't put enough gasoline on. I don't know. But isn't that just crazy?
I think it's crazy it's irresponsible for people to be broadcasting that on TikTok and encouraging other people to do that sort of
teenagers
foolish
love
thing.
to do that. Look, I survived it or whatever.
But to actually go to that extent, I think, is remarkably ill-conceived.
There's a number of bad things that are done on TikTok. I mean, another one that sticks to my mind is particular kids driving at over 100 miles an hour, taking a clip of the speedometer while they're driving over 100 miles an hour. And,
filming while driving.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's
proof
the thing.
I'm going over 100.
That's a proof that I'm going over 100. This is what I've done. And in fact, I believe there was a crash when I was just about leaving Providence, and it came out after the fact they recovered the phone, and it was on
proof?
Route 10. It was on Route 10, and that's what he was
going 100 on Route 10.
Trying to do. Yeah, he was over 110, over 115, and lost and hit a bridge abutment.
There's not enough straightaway.
No,
to do that.
It's the challenge or whatever it is. I mean, and there's been a number of them, even from ingesting certain things, and it's just crazy. But I mean, the young kids, they get roped into it, or if they think it's going to be cool and they want to see how many. I guess I don't know if it's likes or whatever they call
or
it, views or whatever.
There's 1,000 people watch me do this. Isn't that so cool?
Yeah. So
Bob looks like he's incredulous.
Not a well thought out plan.
No, and I don't know if they're looking at stuntmen in Hollywood that light themselves on fire, but these are professionals. They know exactly what they're doing.
With professional clothing, so forth and so on. I don't know how they think that whatever you're wearing, if you light on it, begins to melt and burn. It's not going to burn into your skin.
And on movie sets, there's someone that you don't see, but they're standing right off set with the fire extinguisher ready to go.
Oh, and medical people are there.
And medical people are there. It's like,
they've
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now, how do other people do it and not get hurt? I don't know.
No.
And so
maybe it's just by the grace of God.
Maybe it is. So this happened in North Smithfield last Saturday. And so imagine being the police in North Smithfield and the fire.
Sure.
They're going to go over and take care of this. Something that is certainly preventable.
I believe they're not even supposed to be swimming in that reservoir.
You're not supposed to, but
begin with, I mean, but it happens it's just adds to it.
Let's go back to me doing stupid things. I have swum in that reservoir, but I was 18 at the time.
Okay.
So.
And you didn't have a cigarette lighter anyway close to
I
it?
didn't know, nothing like that. Although I saw kids. Okay, back to doing stupid things. There was a waterfall there, and I saw people jumping off the waterfall. Oh, okay. And I went to go do that, and my foot slipped.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm falling, and I even remember saying to myself, I haven't jumped out far enough. I don't know what I'm going to crash into when I hit the water. And I remember looking at the bricks of the waterfall as I was falling. I said, I am in real trouble when I hit the water. And when I hit the water, I didn't hit anything else. I said, I will never do that again. I was shaking. So I just got out and I said, I'm not jumping off that bridge anymore. Yeah, the foot. I wanted to jump like 5 feet out because I know I'd be safe if I would do that. My foot hit the moss or whatever, and it just slipped, and I didn't jump far enough. I'm like, yikes! So kids do stupid things, and that was one of my stupid things.
Wow.
So all right, there you go. All right, Chief, let's talk speed cameras.
Okay.
Here in Woonsocket, has the mayor or anyone in the city council, have they contacted you to see if you like this idea, if this is a good idea? How do we get these speed cameras? How is the police involved with this?
No, I was asked through discussions with the mayor all the way along. The speed cameras are used by law enforcement, but it's basically a political decision by the community and where they're going to be installed. So the mayor had asked me if I would start looking into how they work, what the cost would be, so forth and so on. So we've gone out to bid once, and those bids ended up becoming stale. We just went out for a second bid, which would just close Monday, I believe, at 2:00 in the afternoon. So we have vendors that are interested. All of it is covered by state law, both the red light camera and speed zone cameras. It's codified in the areas that you can put them, what the fines are, what the process is for the administration of the program. In other words, what the fee schedule is, the fact that the violations are not considered moving violations. They don't impact your insurance or your driving record. So there's a bunch of different things that go along with it. So we presented to the council on Monday night, because ultimately they're going to have to give the approval. They'd be the ones authorizing, signing off on the contract with whatever vendor. We ended up doing that. So there was 6 of the council members that were there. The mayor couldn't make the meeting, but filed in a letter of support saying that he thought they were a good idea. So I had given them the Reader's Digest version of how it was, and we'll wait and see now. The next thing would be to examine the RFPs and actually pick a vendor, and then I would go back to the council with the approval of the mayor and ask that this company be awarded a contract. All of these companies, basically, it's no cost to the city. They come in and they do the installation of it. They get a percentage of the fee. They get a percentage of the fees, and then there's a monthly charge for each individual camera, depending on how many cameras that there are. They do all the administration stuff. It's all technology. So you would go through the red light or through the school zone. The company sees that violation. They have their person take an initial look at it. They then send that violation to the police department. Then a sworn officer has to physically view that violation with 2 pictures of it, and then actually sign off on that. That goes back to the company, and then the company then mails out the citation to that individual. It's a pay-by-mail citation. If you don't want to pay, if you want to contest it, you can go to municipal court. But with most of them,
Tough to contest the picture.
Well, I know depending on what the company has, and we haven't gotten to that detail, but when I was in Providence, I was involved in the original red light camera phase in Providence that they come in, and when you get that summons in the mail, it also has a link to it where you can go on the link and you can watch yourself go through the red light. So if you want to, and that's basically saying, so if you are going to court to contest this is going to court with you, or
to be
we'll
shown,
be waiting for you in court with the judge, so you can make a determination if you'd like to contest it or not.
All right,
That's a lot more involved than I thought, because
Well, yeah.
I didn't realize that a police officer had to view it himself and then sign off on it.
I didn't realize that as well.
No.
It's a very technical and tight process, and it also by law the violation has to be written within 14 days of the actual incident occurring. So there's a turnaround time, because now that company, they have to do the registration check. They identify who you are. You have to match the vehicle to the plate to see if it's, if the registration comes back and it's on a blue Volkswagen, and or that's the vehicle that's in the picture, and then when the registration comes back, if it's on a Corvette, then you know that there's something wrong, that it's got the wrong plate. So, or because the cameras aren't perfect. So they're screening it, we're screening it, and then the violation goes out. And the thing with all of these, red light is different than the speed zone. Red light crashes are horrific crashes, and usually, unfortunately, the person that's most injured in those type crashes, when someone reads a red light, is unfortunately the innocent person, not the violator running the red light. And those those are high impact, high injury type accidents. The school zone cameras the idea is we want people, people are going to say it's a money grab. It's not a money grab. It's about changing people's behavior,
Habits.
especially in school zones where they drive responsibly and slow down.
Okay. We're going to take a break here in the Coffee and Panel. More coming up. We have a note we have to get to. That's for the chief. We will when we come back. And this weather report being brought to you by Compassion International.
Sunny skies today with a high of 78 degrees and a breeze from the north. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 54, calm wind. Friday's weather, sunshine and a high of 73. Saturday, sunshine and 73 again. Sunday, partly sunny and 74. Monday, it'll be partly sunny, but there is a small chance of a shower, high of 70. Tuesday, sunshine and 74. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 76 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with the sunny skies, we've got 55 degrees. And imagine a child in extreme poverty waiting over a year to be sponsored. And they wait today. Become a Compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Guiding and assisting a family as they honor and celebrate the life of someone they love is our mission at Menard Locouture Funeral Homes. From personalized memorial cards, video tributes, to individual requests, such as the presence of sporting gear or even a motorcycle in front of the funeral home, we are able to walk with you as you make decisions at a difficult time. As you plan a loving remembrance for one close to you, Menard Locouture Funeral Home will be there for you.
WOON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates. Bob Lauder's here. Dave Richards has joined us as well. But Bob's going to get going. Right. Unfortunately, we've got a court thing going, right?
Yes.
So let's get a message, Bob, from your law office, and then we'll send you on your way.
Great. Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to begin today's message with a reference to Section 25-248 of the General Laws of the State of Rhode Island, which provides that the 11th day of September shall annually be set apart as a day to be known as Firefighters and Police Officers Appreciation Day. This day shall be observed by the people of the state with appropriate ceremonies and activities that honor and commemorate all of the dedicated men and women who have lost their lives in the line of duty as firefighters and police officers in our state. Now, after that, it's kind of difficult to segue into a law-related commercial, but let me give it a try. Frequently, you've heard me expound on the benefits of treating and creating a valid estate plan, either through the vehicle of a last will and testament alone or a last will and testament coupled with a living trust agreement. This morning, I'd like to remind you that any estate plan should never be considered to be carved in stone and never changed. Over our lives, the circumstances of our families, our friends, the charities in which we are interested, even our financial fortunes will change. We may acquire more assets than we had when we originally constructed the estate plan. We may have new relatives. We may have new friends. We may develop different views on the benefit of our assets to take after our deaths. Have you new grandchildren? Has one or more of your beneficiaries predeceased you? Or do you want that original best bequest to pass to another individual or entity? Have you decided that a former best friend or family member is now the human incarnation of evil and you want to have them disinherited? To address these facts, it's always prudent to periodically take out your already prepared last will and testament and or trust document, read it carefully, and make sure that the instructions which you made in it are still the instructions you would want to express now. If you think my office may be assistance to you in this, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Make sure they spell my last name correctly, Bob, okay, in these wills?
Now, is that for the inheritance part or the disinheritance part?
The inheritance part. Okay?
Inheritance.
Yes,
Okay, great.
please. All right, Bob Lauder's got to go. So thanks for joining us, Bob, today.
Thank you very
Always
much. Good to see
appreciated.
you, Chief.
Take care, Bob.
Dave?
All right, and Bob will be with us next week. Now,
Come again when you can stay longer.
yeah.
Thank you.
We got a caller that called in, 766-1240, going back to the shooting of Charlie Kirk. It just says to the chief, now the caller thinks this Kirk killing is organized. All right. He had to use a scope on the gun. Circumstances to get the perfect shot seem to suggest planning and a possible conspiracy. I actually kind of believe that as well. Now, being a police officer, you've had training shooting a rifle, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. How hard is it to hit your one target on the first shot
No, I mean, this,
without a lot of training?
I don't know it'll take time to know exactly what's involved in this, but for someone to be able to accomplish what they accomplished is someone appears from just what I have seen, someone who had a plan, someone who knew where they were going to go, someone who had needed to get line of sight, which you would need to that, and then to be proficient enough, unfortunately, to execute what he was trying to do, which was kill him, and he did. So yeah, I would say this is definitely premeditated, whether it's a conspiracy, whether there are other people involved with them, what the motivation is, other than the fact that it's well known that this young man had Christian conservative beliefs and was pretty outspoken about those beliefs and ready to debate people on them. That if that was the reasoning for what happened, it's senseless.
Okay. Moving on, as we know, before the chief became police chief here in Woonsocket, he was a police officer in Providence. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with this situation when you were down in Providence, but a Providence teacher is facing charges at the Lillian Feinstein Elementary School, where the teacher is charged with biting the student.
Yeah.
Not
Usually the other way around.
The other way
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, we've had those cases, and it's treated like any other complaint. It's treated like any other complaint. If there's evidence that's there that substantiates what occurred, whether some of it in a lot of those schools it's on camera or there are people who witnessed it, and if there's an injury to the child that and that's what a parent alleges or the child alleges, if it's there, unfortunately it's probable cause, they get charged and they'll have their day in court to defend themselves to say whether it happened or it didn't happen.
Okay.
Here's
Yes,
another
Dave.
one. Can I add another one?
Yeah, sure.
Chief, let's just see. I want to find out how hard you laugh on this one. I was reading it in here. I forget the name. Some famous star that I'm not familiar with, notable person, was washing their car in their driveway. And some ladies
Yes.
came by and were giving him heartburn. They were heckling him. They were calling him names and stuff like that. And so he momentarily turned the hose that he was using to wash his car on them and sprayed them with some water. And they want him arrested.
He was arrested.
Oh, was he arrested?
He was arrested. It's actor, I don't know if you know who Breaking
He
Bad
doesn't
is.
have any charges on him.
Actor Raymond Cruz, arrested on suspicion of spraying women with water. It happened on Monday in Los Angeles. He's accused of misdemeanor battery. Now, it's unfortunate Bob's gone. Charges have not yet been filed, but he says he was arrested. He says the women were harassing him as he was washing his car outside his house. He's doing court next month. Spraying water.
Well, it's California, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that.
Where the nuts come from.
I'm just, I don't know. Usually, you can have an assault without an injury, but you usually have to show that there's some intent to injure or whatever it is.
Turning a garden hose. A momentary
that makes it
spraying
go
with water
away.
to get out of here.
Not only that, he's on his own property. It's not like if they came with a spray bottle and if you were out in a demonstration or someone comes and they're spraying a substance on you, you don't know what it is. I mean, it's California. I'll just leave it at that. I'm glad I live on the East Coast, not the West Coast.
So
There you go.
if he's on his property, but let's say they're on the sidewalk outside his property, and he sprays them standing in his driveway, is he then in the wrong?
Like I said,
Because
this
they're
is
not
all-
on his property.
You could certainly say, though, they're the ones who were the aggressors. They're the
Yes.
ones who were there. I mean, granted, they're not trespassing on his property or whatever it is, but I think going to court, I would find it hard to believe, even if he were to be charged for some reason by a law enforcement entity, that a judge is going to look at anything of that seriously. And that's where they said, I believe out in California, he may have been charged but hadn't been presented to the court yet for the court to accept it. And I don't know if the court had even accepted. If I was his attorney, I would ask it to be dismissed immediately on
Sure.
on arraignment. But I don't know.
All right. Things you don't have to worry about, right?
Yeah. If that's one of the biggest problems,
Is that the problem?
If that's one of the biggest problems in your community about getting squirt with water.
Water?
I mean, then that's probably things aren't too bad in that neighborhood.
Overall, Chief, crime in the city of Woonsocket, up, down, pretty steady.
No,
everything
it's,
okay?
It's down. Everything's good. Everything's been down. It's been a good summer. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't looked at the numbers, but I mean, we have knock on wood, we haven't had any major incidents, other than unfortunately we have had that. We did have the homicide on the bridge, which was actually tragic. It's two brothers that were in an argument, and we don't believe his intent was to kill his brother, but that was the result of it. And you're responsible for your actions. So, I mean, it's just it's horrible. It's people have to realize that. Especially in any type of a confrontation with somebody. If especially road rage incidents, traffic things like that, or just if you're out at a bar drinking and getting in an argument with somebody, a simple punch or push or whatever that goes the wrong way can end up with catastrophic results.
Monitoring the news wire, we see this summer more people from Woonsocket in other communities having contact with law enforcement for one behavior or another, that we see that more often than we see our own citizens with our own officers.
I'm encouraging them, if they're not going to behave in Woonsocket, that they go somewhere else.
Yeah, go someplace else. Let them be somebody else's headache, right?
No, I wish it was that simple, but yeah, no, I don't know, but no, there have been some instances where you've seen different things have happened out of around the state that involve residents here from Woonsocket.
Chief, we also had a story on the news this morning from the Boston Police Department. And you, in your position, understand that it's got to reach a certain level before the department is going to come out and make statements about it. And it has to do with people having their cell phones stolen from them. Cell phones now, these smartphones have your whole life, your medical information, your passwords, your financial information, your contacts, all the rest of that stuff right there on the phone. And for someone to steal that and then have the wherewithal to take that information off is quite dangerous for someone. And it seems to be a rash of things going on. And there's 4 areas of Boston where it seems to be happening the most. One of them is Fenway area.
Back Bay.
What's that?
Back Bay.
The Back Bay is there's Fenway going easton. There's the Back Bay is the next neighborhood.
Downtown and
downtown.
Seaport District.
Yeah,
And yes, Hasbro's new home,
Yeah.
the Seaport District, is one of the places.
They sound like heavily areas that would be heavily involved with tourism.
Right, and they're centered a lot on rideshare.
Okay.
People get out of an Uber or a Lyft.
And they leave the phone behind.
Well, no, that might happen, Joe,
Yeah.
but according to the story, they're accosted by people who are just waiting at these places. And you're a bit disoriented because you're getting out of your vehicle, you're looking at your surroundings, you're deciding which way you're going to step, and they're immediately challenged verbally with threats of bodily harm if they don't hand over the phone.
Yeah. Usually, unfortunately, these phones, I haven't bought a phone. Luckily, I haven't had to buy a phone for probably 20 years because it's been part of the business, part of my duty to get assigned. But they're expensive, and if you look at the new ones that come out, so the thing is, though, they're very, very difficult to crack. In fact, I just had within the last day or so, had a thing where I couldn't remember for whatever reason, I was having trouble because I was doing the face recognition so often, what the actual 4-digit number was. After you do a certain amount of tries, it begins to time out where you can't even go back and try for 15 minutes, then it's 3 hours before you try, then it's 8 hours, and then it eventually locks.
Yeah.
And if you don't know someone's passcode, so really what a lot of these thefts are for is for the actual phone itself. They're not going to get your information off of it, but they're going to take.
They want to sell it, or
yeah, there's a resale. Yeah,
okay.
There's a market to get rid of the phone.
Like catalytic converters.
Yeah, there's a way that they can. Because one of the things that when it was even going on with mine, there's a thing that you can a button that you can hit, and what it does is it washes everything right off of your phone. So if you'd have to have it backed up somewhere in the cloud.
I think I've seen that button on mine.
So that's the fail-safe that, finally if I
The
can't
nuclear
get into
option.
it. Right, exactly. So, but yeah, no, it's for a while cell phones were, it's, electronic devices especially, and we still hear of it, people leaving laptops in their cars. We still have a problem at, in the city at different times at night, people going through cars. So, we stress people to, if your car's parked in your driveway or in a parking lot, lock it. Make sure you don't leave a pocketbook in it. Make sure you don't leave a laptop
And
in it.
don't leave the keys in it.
Well, that's another thing, because what a lot of people, forget now with these automatic, if the person gets in there, and that's one of the things that they do, is they push the button. If you push the button and the key's in the glove compartment, the car's going to start,
Yep.
and you're off and away. So
that's another story we have, and it's up in Canton, Massachusetts. Police up there investigating reports of stolen cars in that town, and 2 have been recovered in Brockton. But the problem is additional items have been reported stolen from the vehicles, and the Canton police said all the cars were unlocked and the keys were in them.
right.
And you're just asking for your car to be stolen.
No, that's what these kids, they're going through. They're taking change, whatever they can find,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
if they hit the button, if the car starts,
great.
they're on their own. But one of the advantages we have is the flock system.
Well, that's right.
So
I know.
if that car, and that's one
That's
of the first
getting
things,
better and better, isn't it?
Yes, it
Because
is.
more and more communities are adding
They're
to
up,
it.
exactly.
Now you can find out not just the direction of travel in your community, but if you can piece it together with another community that has them, you can almost project a destination and where to look for it.
Well, even so, for example, your car is stolen, or you report it's stolen now, we can go back. The only thing we'd be interested in is if you said, hey, I got home last night at 10 o'clock and I parked my car. So then we would run the camera from Flock through 10 o'clock last night to currently. And if it hit any cameras, then it would say, yeah, that vehicle was seen on Park Avenue at 3:30 in the morning, outbound towards Providence. And then we would notify, the notification
nice.
with that. So, yeah, it's a lot of positives to it.
Okay, we're going to take another break here in the Coffee and program. This segment of Coffee and has been sponsored by attorney Bob Lauder.
ON 1240.
When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters. And Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
ON Radio.
All right, Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards, Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates. And Chief, just give us an update on how, because I don't see them around anymore, homeless encampments. Is it still an issue?
No, it's still an issue.
Okay.
They're better hid, Joe.
Maybe that's it.
No, it's still an issue, and the city's doing a lot. The mayor and other members of the staff, the mayor's staff that are addressing that. It's a problem for us. Still, in fact, we're looking for somebody last night that was wanted on a domestic assault that we believed was living in one of the encampments, and
Okay.
so it's a problem. They're trying to open
That shelter.
the shelter, and with that, it'll give us options to move people, off of these different areas and do that. But right now, it's a work in progress. It still is.
Still is, and you still visiting? Well, not you personally, but maybe you,
No,
but
I
your
have.
officers are still visiting the
No,
camps?
I have, and we
Yeah.
get calls. We get calls for them, and Captain Pickard does a really good job. He's my lead guy on it. He's head of the captain, the uniform division, and he usually visits them knows most of the people on a first name basis on that.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, there are transient people that come in and out, but there's some that are regulars that we deal with, and it's a difficult situation. A lot of them all have either some mental health issues or some substance abuse issues on top of the fact of not having a place to stay, and the housing situation in the state is just at its worst that it's been in a long time.
Do you find that the homeless that you deal with that do have substance abuse situations, do they want to get off the substances, or they like being on this stuff?
Unfortunately, a good percentage of them do not want to stop their current activity, and then
Then what do you do?
In addition to that, they don't want to come indoors either. They're not looking for. That's right now, unfortunately, the lifestyle that they've
Chosen?
that they've chosen, and until it's like any other substance abuse. I mean, people know through alcoholism, especially, it's probably one of the more common ones that until you're ready to take those steps to correct that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Wow. Okay. I know we're coming in the last couple of weeks of summer here. Fall is coming. How often or when do the bicycle patrols stop?
We'll go all the
city?
way into October.
You
We'll
will.
actually ride them in. We'll be riding the bikes in the
Autumn Fest Parade?
Autumn Fest Parade.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been. I made it out last week. I've had.
You went out on a bike?
I've had a busy summer, so I've only been out on the bike maybe 3 times this year. But I enjoy it when I get out there for a couple hours during the day. But no, we still haven't. For a while, actually, we're very, very short on manpower. We're down to, I've got another officer leaving to go to North Smithfield potentially in the next 2 weeks. I lost this summer a total of about 5 officers to either leaving law enforcement or going to other places. So I'm down to 87 officers.
When's the next class available?
I've got 5 in the academy
Right now.
In the academy.
When do they
That's
come
not
out?
even a third of what you need.
Right, exactly. And they won't be graduating. They'll be graduating sometime in November, December, but that means that they're really not operational after they have the FTO program. They're not operational
Till the spring?
Till February.
Oh,
Then it's another year
And
on
then
probation.
Right, exactly. But I'm interviewing someone tomorrow today at 11. Okay,
Don't forget.
Thursday at 11. I'm interviewing someone with the deputy chief, and then we've got interviews set up for next week because we're then going to try and obviously get the next training academy will be in January of 26.
So what are you looking for when you're interviewing a candidate?
Someone who's a good overall candidate, someone that's looking to help people, be involved with the community. Hopefully someone, we ask all the time, we're looking for someone to make a career here in Woonsocket, to come up through the police department. We talk about that. We look at what their background is. Some of them have military, some of them don't, some of them are young. So it's an evaluation. They've already had to pass for this interview now, which saves us, instead of, we used to have to do the written test, and we used to have to do the agility, which we still have the ability to do, but there's a company called Fit to Serve, which has been certified by the police standards in training in the state, that does agility tests periodically, as well as written tests periodically. So you get a certificate from them. The agility test is good for a year. The written test is good for 2 years.
Wow.
So when these
So the
kids,
first triage is done by the time you have to sit down with them.
so we're sitting down with a candidate that if I like him as a candidate, the next step for us would be we do a thorough background check on him.
course.
If he survives the.
Does that include social media?
We do
Background
have- yeah.
checks?
I bet it
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, we do the background check on him. If they pass that, then they're required to do a psychological exam. Then they'd be required to do a physical exam, and then if prior to that they have to pass all of those things, and then even just prior to going into the academy, you have to do the agility test over again. Within 2 weeks before the between 2 weeks before the academy, and then you start the training academy. So, yeah, we hopefully but everybody's recruiting. Everybody's short. Everybody's short.
Oh, sure.
Everybody's
That's
short.
how they're stealing
So-
yours. Everybody's recruiting.
Exactly. So,
How many women are on the force? Out of the
so,
87 now.
We're not supposed to notice, Joe.
Joe.
They're officers.
No, they got to keep track of this stuff.
I've got 4.
Okay. In the next class.
Well, I just had one. The last class that I hired was my last female.
Female, okay.
My last female hire.
Any females in the class of the 5 that are down there?
No.
Okay. Did you-
Well, if they don't
It's
apply.
difficult.
well, I know if they don't apply. I mean, how
No,
do you
it's
hire them?
difficult.
That's right.
It's difficult to get them
Recruit?
to apply.
Yeah.
Recruit. In fact, that out of the last group, the recruits that I had, the young lady that was selected is a great officer out there working right now. But she was the only female that had applied out of that last group.
We had no called in. Chief 766-1240. Just to the chief, we talked about the cell phones in Boston being stolen. A person calling in says they're going in that area, one of the areas that we mentioned. So how do you protect yourself to
You need to
not
be-
have your cell phone stolen?
Wear a big gun on your hip, Joe.
Yeah, that's
No, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of your You need to be aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
You need to have, and if it's what you see many times is people walking down the street with their head down, texting, not paying attention to anything that's
Be aware
around
of your
them.
environment.
So yeah, you have to look to see where your environment is, and if you don't need it, if you're not using it. Put it in a pocket, a secure pocket, a front pocket, or some
not your back
someplace,
pocket.
not your back pocket or your pocketbook. But in any case, with anything, cell phone being a robbery victim itself, or being aware of vehicle activity, or even somebody that's maybe does have some type of a mental issue or is having an episode going on. Be aware of those surroundings. If you see something ahead of you that doesn't look good, cross the street. Go somewhere. Go somewhere else if you can. I mean, that's the best advice that I could give.
I heard that information, 40 years ago, in high school.
Yeah.
Because there weren't any cell phones, but to make yourself look not as a subject that could get hit.
yeah.
Don't look like a target.
Don't look like a target. So head up,
Yeah.
shoulders back, stride with confidence.
And the
They'll
other
they'll look away
And
from.
don't look up at the tall
Oh no!
buildings
Don't
if
be a
you're from
tourist.
Woonsocket,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right.
No, but and another thing that people, you hate to say, it's gotten to this point in the world. But if I go into any new venue that I'm at, I want to know where are the exits.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the quickest way out of the building? If something were to happen, where would
Funny,
I go?
I thought there was something wrong
where-
with me
where-
that I looked at that.
No, where would I go? And I mean, you hate to say that that's what we've come to. That's what we've come to. But it's
No,
it's
you've
not
always, down through history, even the pioneers had to be aware of their surroundings. They had to be conscious of pending problems.
What's on the next hill?
A wild boar could come out of the bushes and come at you. You got to be ready. Life on the planet really hasn't changed all that much in general, just in specifics.
But it's gotten to the point. Who would have thought too? So even places of worship now, there's a lot of places of worship that even if they have law enforcement, they are encouraging law enforcement to take their firearms with them to church.
I've seen that.
And it's even so. My own parish, and I won't give the name of the parish, but my pastor had stopped me last week and we had a conversation about safety in the church and so forth and so on. And he said right out, he says, Tommy, the the diocese encourages officers to carry firearms. So it's because they want that protection. They want that They want the protection.
Well, now I thought that the officers were either encouraged or ordered to carry off duty.
Not required.
No,
Not
is
required.
is that a state thing or is that a Woonsocket thing?
It's basically a best practice, and a lot of that came after the Cornell Young shooting. There, unless it's a life or death, you're not. No officer is required to carry a firearm off duty. You do have the ability to do it. In most situations, unless it's obviously if it's a situation where someone is shooting people or wherever it is, if they're telling us now, or officers now, for example, if you were at a place and you were a witness to a robbery going down, if I was in the Cumberland Farms, you're better off being a good witness. You're better off being a good witness than to engage that person in a Cumberland Farms.
So things have changed over the years.
Yeah. Well, because I'm by myself. There's 15 people in the store.
You can't call for backup.
There's 15 people in the store. He's holding a gun on the clerk there. I take my gun out. Now it turns into a gunfight.
Now it's a battle. Yeah.
I'm not wearing body armor. I'm not wearing body armor. I don't have a portable radio. I don't have anything else. So they say, at that point, what you do is, as soon as the guy left, you would then follow him, then call and do it then. But it's smarter then to do that, because especially if I was away somewhere out of jurisdiction, they don't
on
know,
vacation.
they don't know me. I mean, if I was down in Narragansett in the summer going,
They wouldn't know you're a cop.
Right. So now Narragansett police
Now it
pull up and
complicates everything.
I'm standing out in the parking lot with a gun in my hand.
You're the perpetrator.
Right. So that's why it's encouraged that. No, but it used, when I was first on, if you came to get your paycheck, and if that was when there was no direct deposit, you came to get your paycheck, and it was even you're on your day off, you could have a supervisor say, "Let me see your off-duty firearm." If you didn't have the gun, you weren't getting
paid.
You weren't getting the paycheck.
So things have changed.
All right, we've got to run. We're running over time. Sorry about that, but we could go on for
part's never
hours.
changed.
Yeah, for stories,
I know, the great stuff. But thanks for listening in. Our thanks to Bob Lauder, who was here earlier, and Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates. Thanks for coming in.
Joe, thanks for being here. Dave, nice to see you too.
Nice to see you, Chief.
Thanks for popping in too as well, Dave.
You
Appreciate
betcha.
it.
And coming up next, it's the Do You Remember show with Gary and the crew here on ON.
Right after the 9 o'clock news.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.